ladies and gentlemen, let's take a good look at the Frost DK. So many of you hyped about this one. I hope I don't let you down. It's a Frost DK. It's not changed, like, at all. Like, we can get two-handed weapons now. That's cool. A lot of people are just fine with that. That's enough for them. That's great. That's awesome. If that's what you're looking for, it is here. It seems fine. It doesn't seem any different at all. The Mathemagicians will work out, but if that's not your jam and you don't particularly care because you want to wield a big-ass two-hander, that's okay too. But for how it plays, it's the same. It's the Frost DK. If you've ever played one since, I want to say Wrath of the Lich King, it's the same thing, pretty much. A couple of notable questions that people kept asking me about it is it still breath-based? Because some people, and we did a little check, it was like 50-50. Some people love breath, some people do not. For me, and it's all feely feels right now, this is very early alpha, it did seem like breath was just overwhelmingly dominant, especially when there was more targets. There may be some single target occasions where you take like Ice Cap or Obliteration or something like that. But when you're doing cleave and stuff, it just seemed like breath was the best. But don't take my word on that yet. It's early alpha. Things can change at any moment in terms of damage numbers and things. So if that's a good thing, there you go. If it's a bad thing, I'm sorry. That's how it feels there. Now, there is some returning stuff, of course. Gameplay-wise, it's the same. We get the dragon as base. That's really nice. We also got AMZ, which is super powerful. 60% damage, magical damage reduction for the people stood inside it. We also get to raise a ghoul as an extra little cooldown. We also get Death and Decay. We tried this out a couple of times, but it doesn't really have any scaling with Frost, so it just seemed to overwhelmingly be a waste of time. I threw it down in AoE packs because it's there, and it felt like that's what you should do, but I kind of feel like it's just going to be something that's there for flavor, or something you'll use for some other interactions that you might get further down the line with the Covenant abilities and legendaries and all that kind of stuff that is coming. I do want to point out here, Torghast is available as of recording this, but we cannot do it with Death Knights yet. They're being very limited on the classes that can try it. So where we can from going forward, we're going to show you some Torghast, because Torghast is such an overwhelmingly fun experience. We'll have a separate video coming on that I think people will want to know who has the best time inside Torghast. Is it just Demon Hunters? Because Demon Hunters have a really good time, and Disc Priests actually have a really good time in there. So we will get to that when we can. Another notable thing to talk about here is, one, Death Coil is back. This actually came in handy. I know, that sounds crazy, but it did. There are certain things that are already in the game where you're rooted, you can't break them, and you want to just finish a target off or something like that. Death Coil is there to be used. Was surprised myself to find handiness in it. I thought it was just there for flavor, a bit like Death and Decay. But no, lo and behold, Death Coil actually came in handy. We also get Lichborn as a passive. Draw upon unholy energy to become undead for 10 seconds. It increases Leech. Really good. The Leech is actually the primary function here, and making you immune to Charms, Fear, and Sleep, which is also great. But the Leech to heal yourself up on top of Death Strike, magnifique. I do want to bring up here, because I didn't talk about it in the other Death Knight videos, and I absolutely should have, so my apologies there, but there are a number of new enchants of Runeforges for DKs. Now, these seem kind of themed, and I would say that the theme seems to lean more towards dual wield here for what seems to be the Frost one, and I'm only saying it's the Frost one because it has a frosty picture with it. So we got Rune of Hysteria, which increases your maximum runic power by 20, and your attacks have a chance to increase runic power generation by 20%. Remember, you are giving up Rune of the Fallen Crusader in order to have this, but this is some new stuff that they've brought in. Rune of Razor Eye still exists. We also get Rune of Sanguination, which is affix your weapon with a rune. Your Death Strike deals increased damage based on the target's missing health, and when you fall below 35% health, you heal for 48% of your max health over 8 seconds. So that feels like the tanking one, right? These are the kind of things that sort of made sense. And we got Rune of Unending Thirst, which has kind of a blood picture, but I already just said a tanking one, but you get the idea. Affixes your rune weapon with a rune that grants you 10% haste and movement speed, and heals you for 5% of your maximum health when you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor. Additionally, increases your movement speed while dead by 10%. So that feels like the open world one, if you want to go that way. And leaning towards the Unholies is Rune of the Apocalypse. Affixes your weapon with a rune that gives your ghouls attacks. Now, everybody does have a ghoul, so it does work for Frost and for Blood. That debuffs the target, so it can debuff them with Death, which is a healing reduction, War, which increases damage taken by the DK, Famine, which reduces damage taken by the DK, Pestilence slows the target and deals damage over time. So you have these sort of 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse style enchants coming in for the DKs. But overall, as a quick look, the Frost DK is the Frost DK. Don't expect much different other than you can equip a big fat 2H and smash some skulls with it. That might be enough for many of you.